In the United States, President Trump has called on Republicans in the House of Representatives to vote in favour of the release of government files on the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It is a reversal on his previous position, and it comes in a social media post in which Mr. Trump said that the debate about releasing the files was a Democratic Party hoax. He said the Republicans should vote to release them because, quote, "we have nothing to hide." While the shift in President Trump's position comes as dozens of Republicans have signalled they were willing to break ranks with the party on the issue. The House is expected to vote this week on legislation that would compel the US Justice Department to publicly release the Epstein files. Well, Donald Trump has consistently denied any wrongdoing in relation to the late Jeffrey Epstein, and speaking to reporters ahead of boarding Air Force One back to Washington, the president again blamed the Democrats.
So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
And I've been talking to Nomia Iqbal for more on that U-turn from the president.
It's confusing, isn't it? But look, Ben, I think his U-turn now, his latest U-turn, is extraordinary. And I try not to use that word too much, given the nature of US politics these days. But he has spent the best part of a year, most of his presidency, downplaying these files, despite the fact that he campaigned, it was one of his big promises on the campaign trail to voters that he would release them. And also, in terms of this vote that is now going to happen tomorrow to release the files, he and the Republican leadership in Congress did a lot to try and block that vote from happening. And that is why I think it's extraordinary, because it's clear that he has lost his authority on this issue, that there has been this pressure by Congress for him to take this U-turn. And that in of itself is quite rare for Donald Trump to be under that sort of pressure. But I think it gives you a real sense of how toxic his association with Jeffrey Epstein has been, how big an issue this whole issue of Jeffrey Epstein is for not just lawmakers, but also voters. On the issue of lawmakers, we've seen that astonishing fallout with Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, who has stood shoulder to shoulder with him on everything except for this. And I think also, Ben, the writing was on the wall. There's enough evidence to suggest that Republicans were planning to defy Donald Trump in standing with Democrats and calling for these files to be released.
And we talk about these files, Nomia. What exactly are they? Because we've had, we've seen thousands of emails that were released just the other day. But what's different about these files?
Well, this is the big question, isn't it? Because as far as the public are concerned, they believe that there is a lot more to answer about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, these files that we've seen so far, I mean, some of them you can't really decipher. There's a lot of documents, there's screenshots, there's emails. People are looking for some sort of smoking gun. Now, this all goes back to the promises that Donald Trump made on the campaign trail. He and his MAGA base believe in this conspiracy theory, there's no evidence, that Jeffrey Epstein did not die by suicide, that he was in fact killed because he had this list, a list full of powerful people that had committed crimes, and that he was going to start talking. Now, there's no evidence of any of that, but the MAGA world have believed in that, and Donald Trump has stoked that a lot, and he did that on the campaign trail. And so I think what ultimately people want is a case of just release them all. Just release all the files, everything that you have on it, all the investigations, and then people will go from there and see for themselves what is there. I think the fact that the public and lawmakers know that there are files that aren't out there, that are being kept under lock and key, I think that's the issue. And they just want all those files released. But as I say, that vote is due to happen tomorrow, and all the evidence so far suggests that it will pass, and then it will go onto Donald Trump's desk to be signed into law.